And what you said before we started filming was crazy violent.
You're not finna do that to me. You're not finna do that to me.
I'm not sure how the community would really come to terms with what you said, but I think you're very brave for sharing it with us.
Yeah.
Listen, it's pretty fucked up of y'all to kink shame like that. I told y'all that in confidence.
Yeah, but the thing you said about the pickle and the hacksaw, it was just a little much.
What business of yours is it where I put my pickles? Hi everyone, welcome to the Pillow Fort podcast. I am Violet, they, them. I am here with my beautiful co-hosts. Please introduce yourselves.
Howdy, my name is Sosa, and I go by he, him, they, them pronouns. At times you may call me Big Booby Bobby.
At times, when appropriate.
Never. Hi, I'm Shells. Hi everyone. I go by she, they. Pronouns don't really matter to me. Any of them, all of them work. I'm never going to take offense to it.
Today we're talking about table etiquette when we're playing TTRPGs. And I think the best way to start this conversation is with the question, what's the fastest a table has ever made y'all say, oh, hell no?
I think the fastest I've said hell no at a table. I think I was in a one shot when we were in that previous Discord, and immediately something aggravates me when people don't use the rules of D&D. Like, I use them loosey-goosey in my campaigns, but to be like, yeah, sure, this thing can happen because I don't care. And it's like 11 o'clock at night and we're playing a level 20 characters and we're only doing combat and we don't finish combat until 3 a.m. At some point, you gotta give a darn.
I see we're sticking with the accent.
I'm locked in on it, boy. Big Booby Bobby.
I especially, it's really a beautiful artistic choice how you switch in and out of the accent throughout a single sentence. I really like that touch.
It's inspiring.
That's on ADHD. Thank you. I would really like an award, please.
Chels, when has a table made you go, oh, hell no?
Truly the fastest, I would say. I was playing in a campaign with some people I found through like one of the other servers that I was in. I think it was the queer one. Table full of white people. They're British, UK. And we were talking about the state of the world for like 5 seconds, chopping it up. And we were talking about Trump and yada yada. And then we jumped into the campaign, and he was like, I'm going to mimic this character after Trump. Immediately left the call. What are we talking about? We just all talked about how much we hate this nigga. Can I say nigga?
Yeah.
And how we don't like blending too much actual real life stuff because we're immersing ourselves. We're trying to get away. It's called escapism, right? And this nigga goes, I'm going to base this character, this NPC off Trump. Worst DM I ever had. Never in my life.
How do you keep finding just the shittiest tables to play with? What the fuck?
It's a talent, I guess. That's another reason why I started DMing. Like my first, not to get a little bit off topic, but my first real push was watching Abria do Misfits and Magic, and I was like, oh, you can have fun being a DM. Like it doesn't have to be as technical and. Like, Brennan, to me, is so technical. Matt Mercer is elite level of technical. And I was like, I don't know if I have the brain power to be technical. And I saw Bria have fun with it. And I was like, yes, I can do that. I could do the role-playing like that. And another pusher was just having really bad DMs and, like, realizing that I could do it better.
Well, first of all, I want to say I've never had a table make me go, oh hell no. Partially because I honestly haven't, like, I've been playing TTRPGs for maybe 2 years now. I've been a fan of them for a long time, but I've only been playing for 2 years. My only experiences of playing have been with people that, like my best friends who I know very well, or um, in Codex, which we were in together, and they were there was a strict set of rules that DMs had to follow. Like, for the most part, they couldn't be on their bullshit. So the few games where I was a player, I had a good time. I didn't really experience that many problems. And the other ones, I was DM. I know I'm having a great time. It's me. But like, it's me. I'm pretty confident in my abilities.
Ooh.
But no, yeah, it's watching that and realizing, oh, you can play this however you want. Like, truly, the rules of these games are just guidelines to facilitate you having a good time. There are a lot of rules I don't follow in D&D. I'm not going to track how much those items you're carrying weigh. I'm not gonna make sure your character is eating 3 meals a day. There's some people who really fuck with that, and I respect it. I can't. It's too much. It's too much.
There's some things that are just too crunchy.
Which
Yeah.
I feel like is wild that you say, like, Brennan is one of those, like, crunchier DMs for you, because to me he's not. Like,
I think he's
So,
crunchier compared to Bria.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I don't mean crunchy in terms of like following exact rules of D&D. When I say crunchy or like they're like I meant like their world building is so well thought. Like they have a team. Obviously, they have a team. I forget her name, but they have like a lore keeper, right? And they have people that help them not only build the campaigns but build the worlds that they play those campaigns in. And what I mean is that they don't necessarily follow all the rules because they do their own versions of deals with the devil, right? Deals with the DM. I meant that like at the end of the day, Brennan is gonna follow some kind of rule, whether it's his own strict ruling or something that he saw in the like D&D handbook. He's gonna follow it. Abria, I don't think that there's been a time where I've looked at Abria and been like, oh, she's following D&D rules. Period.
I want to ask y'all, do you think there's such a thing as, like, a perfect table? Like, what actually makes a good table instead of a perfect one? Do you know what I mean?
I think a perfect table is like that is so like very much within your own opinion. I don't think there's a such thing as a perfect table, but I think what makes a great table almost perfect is communication. Like, people are going to have different play styles regardless. And like, I'm thinking about this as a DM. I'm going to cultivate the table. Like, I'm quick to remove people and move people around if I don't like the synergy of the group. So in my response to this is like, I can cultivate the energy that I want around me and for the story. With that in mind, it's communication and knowing the limitations of each player and being clear about how you want to, like, things to be communicated. And like, I think that it is, but the elements of that to make that successful, to make it damn near perfect, is knowing the limitations of your players and how far you can push them, and as well as communication, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to agree. A good table is mostly based around any good relationship where communication has to be the number one factor. You have to be able to say, I feel this way, I want this, I don't want this, right?
Yeah.
And personally, from like being a DM, I think not the perfect table, because that truly doesn't necessarily exist. I think a good table is just like how well can we talk about things that aren't even D&D related? Like, how well do we get along as people? And then how well do we get along as players? And I think that just makes the table so much better when you're able to say, oh, I like this person is my friend. And when we play these characters, we can have this like very specific dynamic, and we can do these things because I'm able to say, you're my friend, this is what I want, this is what I don't want.
I think the perfect, as perfect as something can get, the perfect table is one with communication and one where people are willing to talk, meet each other where they're at. And that kind of leads into the next thing I was going to ask, which is, can a table recover from conflict? Which I think absolutely, if everyone is communicating and willing and wanting to overcome that conflict. Bottom line, when you're playing TTRPGs, it's a social interaction. There's going to be butting of heads at some point. There's going to be some amount of conflict. And that's all right. Like, we are all adults. Like, we should be able to talk it out. But to talk it out, you need to be able and willing to communicate.
I completely agree with you. It's just that I've played at tables where people bring a lot of their real life into their games, and like they build their characters off the dynamics of their real world relationships. Like, they use it as a form. It depends on, like, if you have people that play as like a sense of therapy, or in their search for catharsis of like an overarching problem that's in their real life. Because I've ran tables for people where, okay, these are my favorite storytellers. I love when they role play. They have a great synergy, great dynamic, but then their interpersonal relationships are reflected in their characters and where they stand as characters. And I've seen it, like, while they may make up later on when they have conflict, they're like, you can see where they're at in their relationships with each other based off their relationships with their characters. I've seen how outside issues, and they argue, has ended many campaigns that I've ran, or another one of us, our friends have ran, because all of it, like, they deal with the conflict and they don't, because, and I guess it's probably like a personal thing how they handle it with each other. They've like decided that they're no longer in that mindset to play that character anymore. So then the campaign ends because nobody's in the mood anymore. And I think that's especially frustrating as a DM. Even though I 100% agree with you, I think that it can only be as a conflict can only be as survivable as the intent and the relationship with the person as a character, with them and their characters can be.
Yeah, I agree. I really think it depends on the table. And it kind of leads back to what I said about like how well can we talk about things other than TTRPGs? Like, how well are we friends rather than how well are we just a TTRPG table? Because
Yes.
I've seen plenty of tables fall apart because people don't consider Discord people as friends, right? They're like,
Yes.
these are just strangers that I could play a game with and do whatever. But it's like, if you're doing this for months to years, at some point you have to open yourself to being a little bit vulnerable and associating these people as being your friends, because there's a certain level of empathy that people should have with their friends that make conflict not only avoidable, but like perfectly resolvable. And I just think that some people don't make those connections to make it resolvable. So yeah, I think it depends on the
Switch of topics. I wanted to talk about things about playing Dungeons and Dragons that, as Sosa likes to put it, make our ass itch. What specifically? How about player habits or GM habits? Like, what makes your ass itch?
Can I start? Can I start?
Yes.
Can I start?
Yes,
Go.
queen.
Go, she ready.
Okay. For players, why are you joining a role play game if you're not gonna role play? If you're gonna be quiet for 90% of this goddamn story, why are you here? Go play Baldur's Gate. You don't have to talk with Baldur's Gate. What are we doing here? What are we
Yeah.
doing here? And that's for any TTRPG because all of them have elements of role playing. Why are you not role playing? If you're nervous, that's something you got to talk about with your DM. They will do their best to open up questions to you and leave room for role play for other characters to get in and role play with you. Like, it's really about communication if you're nervous, if it's your first time. I've known one nigga, I've been playing a game with him for 3 years, and 3 words a session come out of this nigga's mouth, and it's always something completely unrelated to the story. We were trying to blow up an obelisk, Lost Mines of Fandelver. Yeah, obviously, you can't blow it up because it's from the far realms, right? And he was like, the first thing he said in a 3-hour session was, well, are we sure that's gonna work? Why is that the first thing that came out of your mouth? We've been playing for 3 hours. We've been playing for 3 hours. Okay. I'm good. I got it off my chest.
No, it's like coming off of that, like the thing that boggles my mind. Look, if we have free will, you can play these games how you want. I will never understand the small subsect of D&D players who aren't there to roleplay, aren't there to make a story. They are there to solely engage with the mechanics of the game, specifically the combat mechanics.
Just play Tekken.
It feels like a completely different game. Like the games that I am playing and the games that they're playing, it's the same system. It's D&D. It feels completely different. I don't know. I just it's like and here's the thing too. I always, because I know that there are players like that, whenever I'm proposing a game or looking for players, I let people know, hey, I'm really narrative focused. Like I am a story-centric DM. Just so you know. And even then, sometimes I'll get players who are like, this is a pet peeve of mine. When players, I will ask for like backstories, and I don't ask for a lot, right? I don't need you to write me a novel or anything. But when players give me a backstory that is just like, I'm a barbarian that just likes to hit shit.
Like, people truly forget the who, what, when, where, why, how. Simple. Five questions. Who, what, when, where, how.
Yeah.
I wow. You get it.
I'm like, please give me something. Do you have friends? Do you have family members? What's your goal? What do you want to, like, what? If you don't have to have a grand goal, maybe your character's just like, yeah, just trying to get by or find a better job or something. That's cool. It's something. And like, here's me as a DM. Nigga, your character's finna have a story whether you like it or not. Oh, you're a barbarian who just likes to hit shit? Hey, that's cool. That's cool. I rock with that. Your parents are getting a divorce and they're putting you in the middle of it.
What the fuck?
That is insane.
I'm like, I gave you a chance to give me a backstory and let me know what kind of story you wanted to tell with the character. You looked at me in the face and said, fuck you. So now it's my turn.
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
in my
yes.
ear?
We're going to tell a goddamn story whether you like it or not. And if you don't like that, I don't join my table. I don't know what to tell you.
I also had a player who, like, it's not that they wouldn't give me a backstory. They were just like, I really don't know what to do with this character, so do whatever you want. Oh yeah, you have amnesia. You're just one part of a larger soul who died, and your wife is also dead. You watched her burn. Got it. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
held your
L-
children in your hands as they took their last breath because
Oh,
your wife tried to give them a bath in a pond.
I'm introducing his children in the actual next session. Thank you. I am. I've been running with it. He literally gave me reins and I said, okay, I'm running. And yeah, I sometimes I do love when they don't give a backstory, but I need you to explain to me why you can't give me a backstory. Like if it's
Yes.
just the, oh, I like to hit stuff, that's not acceptable. If it's, I don't know what to do, that's something we can work with together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a communication thing.
And let me be clear, I'm not talking shit about like simple characters. I love a little guy that just likes to hit things. A little guy who just likes to hit things is still gonna have friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
You
it's
still
you
grew
don't
up
have to.
somewhere.
Right. Like you said, they didn't just appear into existence with a battle axe.
Right, even
And if
isekais have that first 5 minutes of what their life was like before they got isekai.
Right.
Chuck-kun,
That actually kind of well, for Sosa, what makes your message about
I'm gonna
players or GMs?
okay, okay. Quite a few things make my ass itch, including if I'm a DM, I agree with Chels. Uh, why are you playing? I make it abundantly clear that I'm story based. Also, I am a give. Look, a lot of DMs are out there to punish you. I'm out here to give you emotional wounds and then also give you other things. The more you like, the thing is I live by the principle of like everything you do has an equal or opposite reaction. I want to give you things. As a DM, I want to give you things. I want to share this world. I want to give you the tools that makes you capable of existing in this narrative. I want to give you things, but that comes with a price, and that price is your emotional stability at times. I want to be able to take it to hell and back, but like also with consent. I want to give you things. I want to be nice to you. I want to coddle you. I want to love you. I want to keep you in a protective bubble and then pop it when you realize that your actions have consequences. And that doesn't always mean it's negative. Sometimes if you're kind and you're rewarded for that. I don't like playing with niggas that only want to play do combat, because the combat to me, like if they value it, I'll give you that. I'll give you the combat that you so rightly want. But then what does your character do with it? If also this is also tying as with a player. Watching someone play an evil character with no chance, automatically deciding, oh, this person is not going to be redeemed. Then what is the point of being with this character? Do not then get upset when nobody likes this character and doesn't want them in the party. Additionally, on top of that, people who play D&D, it is a story, which means that your character, depending on how long your campaign is going to be running and depending on how the story is looking, you should be slowly evolving your character. You don't need everything fleshed out. It is okay that the premise that you came up with before playing is changing. Your character's supposed to grow, or in some cases get worse. Sometimes the interpretation of the environment set around them means that they get to decide in the moment whether or not this is reaffirming their preconceived notions or breaking them out of that barrier. Either way, don't be afraid to have a good character go bad and then struggle to get back to normal, like get back to a baseline where they can cope with reality. That is okay. But just know the characters have to grow. They have to grow. They have to grow. Big Bobby Booby says they have to grow. They have to grow. They have to change. And you don't want a stagnant character. It's okay to play a character and steps out of the limelight, but there's even story within that. My favorite characters oftentimes are side characters because of the lack of information we get about them. You can make shit up. You can do a lot of things in the background. You can add flavor. Oh my god, people who do not add flavor to shit. I don't care about the standard fucking spells. I don't care about the standard actions. Flavor your shit. What makes this uniquely your character? Make it yours. The way you cast magic, I'm always asking, how do you cast magic? What does a magic look like? Is there a scent? I want you to be descriptive. I want you to give it the flourish to make it uniquely yours. Babes, grow, flavor. It's just like, damn. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have to agree, especially with longer campaigns, you should be growing as a character and as a player. Because once
Yes.
you start being around creative people, you literally start to dissect and take the parts that you like and admire and make that part of you. Like, I've literally been doing that since joining this like TTRPG community. And like, I feel like I'm definitely a different DM. I stopped one of my campaigns for like a couple months and came back to it, and I was like, wow, I'm literally a different DM. Like, some of these things I feel like I could have done better that I'm now going to do better in the second half. Like, I definitely agree that like not only should the characters grow, the players should also be growing.
Yeah. Also, not everything in the world, at least when I run my worlds, not everything is black and white. Not everything is. Sometimes you just get presented information, and that's the way your character interprets it, and that is outside of my control on how your character portrays it. But then don't get mad at me when like, I give my NPCs layers. There are reasons and motivations they have to navigate the world in which they do. I flesh out their backstories because everybody has a motivation. Life isn't, and I think that's also part of like being, like, I've noticed that with a lot of other POC creators. They don't just make like NPCs. These NPCs have life. And a lot of the times that life, like, I have an idea of what their background is as an NPC. And then the way my players interact with them and the more knowledge they either learn or ignore about them is how I flesh them out further. Like,
I on that note of your NPCs being very fleshed out, it reminded me of this one shot that I ran, and my players came across this NPC and started giving him attitude, and my NPC was like, no, you don't talk to me like that.
Right.
I'm the manager here. If you want to speak to somebody, you speak. And they were thrown back. And after the session, I was like, the player said, it was like talking to a real person. I didn't expect that. I was thinking of just talking to the NPC, and I was like, yeah, these are actual people. He has a husband who he has 2 toddlers that he takes care of, dog. He doesn't have time for your shit. Like,
yeah.
I might not have everything planned about my NPCs, but damn if I'm not going to make them feel real and fleshed out as I'm playing. And that kind of something you said earlier is like kind of touching on what we said before. Like, to be clear, we're not, when we're talking all this shit, we're not talking about people who are like new to TTRPG spaces and like don't know how to do this shit or aren't used to it. We're also not talking about people who, generally we're not talking about people who just don't like to engage the story aspects. We're talking about people who come to our tables, know that we're trying to make a story, and just don't engage with that part of it at all. Like, if you are newer or like you don't know how to engage with these parts of it, you don't know how to engage with the role-playing aspect of it, that's fine. I love like teaching people about that and guiding them through that. Like, talk to us. If you're like, I don't know how to create a story, I don't know how to do this, this, and that, tight. Talk to us. We're going to figure it out together, But yeah, just it's a lot of things. Most of the shit, so that you point out, I completely agree with.
And when we get into like being a player and we get these one-dimensional ass BBEGs, bitch, a bullet would like, literally, it's the aspect of villains don't have to follow, like, villains can be villains because they are villains. Literally, we see in Superman with Lex Luthor, the recent one that came out, Lex Luthor is a big brained ass bitch, and he literally said out his mouth, he said, every time my name is in the same sentence as Leonardo da Vinci and somebody and Einstein, a little bit of bile rises up in my fucking throat. Sometimes you just got a smart nigga that just do smart nigga shit, and then that's it. Like he's big brain and he wants to do things because he can, because he has the money to, because he's smart enough to do it. There are dimensions with, like, even within that, I can pick apart Lex Luthor because why do you feel the need, like because I'm like, just because you have to, like, I can go into his character. When I see some of the villains some of the villains or BBEGs for some like D&D stuff, or even in like books I've read, I'm like, so you just want to conquer because you got hit when you were a kid? That's not a good way to have representation. Like, that's not a good way to have representation for kids that are abused. 1, 2, you most likely made the person black or POC. And if not, then people have a different perspective. Like, this person's an evil person. And I notice that more. And then, like, there's also the problem of, like, if it's depending on the fandom, people are like, oh, that person's never did anything wrong. They'll be like the truest, vilest ass bitch. And then they're like, but he kind of hot though. He got nipples.
Supernatural Lucifer. To this day, there are Lucifer defenders. And it's like, the nigga is like actually the devil. He's actually the devil. What are we talking about right now? Truly, I think it's delusion. That's all I'm gonna say. It's delusion.
Game of Thrones community, I'm coming at your neck because while I think those little white-haired demons are fucking hot sometimes, that Daemon was her uncle, and she was a child.
Okay, this might be a little off topic, but it is on topic. Did you guys see that clip of Terrence Howard being like, I think Game of Thrones ruined certain things about people because it was funny, but it's not funny. He was like, it made people more comfortable with watching incest porn. And he was like, some people, instead of turning off the TV, got a little closer and turned it up. Because okay.
Yes.
Why?
Literally?
Why? Everywhere, and it's prevalent, and they don't even treat it as like a thing of taboo. I hate when fantasy borrows from reality, and it's always the worst and most literally disgusting things that they take from it. Why did it have to be incest?
Also,
why did it have to be incest?
In Tennessee, when I was going to like the southern part of, I went to the Biltmore mansion in like, I think North or South Carolina. And on our way up, we had to go through Tennessee. We stopped in Knoxville. Going through Tennessee, you know how many fucking signs I saw that was like, just because you're drunk, that's still your daughter?
Hey,
sorry.
Speaking of things that make people uncomfortable and potentially make things that we enjoy worse, let's talk about the things that make our tables safer and more welcoming. What do you guys... We simply must segue from incest.
Yes.
I put forward this promise from now on. Listeners of this podcast, I promise you we will not talk about incest for more than like 2 minutes per episode.
Per? Why are we bringing it up that often?
Because I can't trust you two. Anyways.
Okay, whenever we talk about Game of Thrones, it has to come up because it's such a huge part of it. But yes, safe tables.
Also, yes, how do we make our tables safer and more welcoming?
We'll donate $1 every time that subject was brought up. But I like to talk. I don't know if you guys have ever done this before, but like communicate with my players. I ask them, I have like, when I make campaigns, I have like things that might come up. I see what they're comfortable with of that list. And if there's other things, because some people, I didn't know trypophobia was going to be a problem in a game of imagination, but some people are still afraid of trypophobia or triple language that can induce the imagery of trypophobia.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize that that could be a fucking problem. Chels, you can probably talk more about this because in the Watchtower Discord that Chels runs, she has a anonymous thing that we can report to, like for our games or for our tables, like of like disclaimers. Go ahead and talk about that, Chels.
Yes. I can't remember who sent it to me. But someone sent it to me when I was, first starting out with the Discord server. I was like, I want to make sure that we have certain things for each table, but I don't think one master documented list is going to be good because people don't like to read. Not that they're illiterate, they're lazy. So they're not going to read a full 16-page document outlining every content warning. So someone sent me this website where you can create a session and it gives you a link. And when you send that link to other people, they can put what they are uncomfortable with and mark it as uncomfortable or yellow, I think. And then they can put what they are comfortable with, and it could be green or whatever. And it's completely anonymous. You do not know who sent what. There is no way to track who sent what. And so, yeah, I linked that with the basics of what you should be doing when you build a table. If you don't have something that you use already, that one's a great one. If people, feel uncomfortable sharing and stuff. We will probably link that in the bio or something.
Yeah.
And
Also,
our resources.
talk a little bit about the Watchtower. What is that?
Oh, now y'all put me on the spot. Okay.
Yeah.
The Watchtower was just a consequence of another server that we were in kind of blowing up. We all kind of make jokes about it being blown up. And so a lot of people still wanted to communicate with their friends and continue like either role playing or playing TTRPG games. So a bunch of people splintered off and made their own servers, and me and a group of my friends, these people included, went and made the Watchtower. And we just play all kinds of TTRPGs. We play video games. We watch movies together. We're trying to plan a cooking night where we watch movies and cook with a theme. We just get in the voice chats and chit chat. It's more hang out and chill and relax than it is TTRPG at this point. But we do TTRPGs. We do role play. We have a role play section. But yeah, it's just a fun place where we can hang out and be a calm and collected community. It's made by Black people. It's for Black people. We have a couple allies in there, but they are a very small number compared to the amount of Black people that we have. And everyone is very kind and respectful, and we do raffles all the time. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun to hang out.
And Chels will be hosting the Pillow Fort podcast. Additionally, a little bit about the roleplay aspect. It was a community of writers that are just normal people in the Discord. Worked really hard and endlessly to craft the world in which is set there.
Yeah, we got our podcast, the Pillow Fort podcast, is being hosted by the Watchtower. So if you are interested in hopping in Discord with us, interacting with us in that way, there will be stuff for that on the Watchtower. And also, there are games that you can join there if you want. There are kind of less structured roleplay, if I'm not misunderstanding, like worlds built, by writers in there that you can interact with that aren't like a formal session. And you can just hang out. I saw last night you were playing Among Us or something. I see people hanging out in the chat all the time. It's a chill space. If you're Black and looking for a nerdy space to join and be accepted in, go check out the Watchtower. We'll post a link for it. Yeah, I also wanted to talk about session 0 expectations. So we've talked a little bit about like safety tools already, but how do you, I guess not just session 0, like throughout play and throughout sessions, how do you handle like uncomfortable content or content that could be uncomfortable or triggering to some?
I text my players before playing, and like, we pre-agree. Session 0, I have like is different. I have a session 0.01, I guess. I don't know. I have a precursor conversation to pitch the campaign, get everybody's comfortability with like certain themes and topics and things happening with the campaign. And then our session 0 is individual, like one-on-one, um like getting them kind of used to the world and the language I'll be using in the world. And we're actually playing a one-on-one game, and it gives them an opportunity to get, comfortable in the world, find items that will, contribute to where they end up session 1. And I throughout the campaign, if I know that like body horror is going to happen, because I love a good body horror, I love gory stuff, um, and I love psychological thrillers, and I like, I just like doing mean things. I'm a man. I like ah! If I could anyway, but I text my players the night before or two like days before as I'm planning and being like, "Hey, we might go like we might do deal with these topics." And I'll ask everybody's comfortability with that again, because it's constant communication. It's literally like what BDSM, like with the type of communication. I don't know why I said that, but basically it's same principles. Communication, make sure we have consent to even talk about the things that we're talking about, and then making sure everybody has a good time at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Consent is key. I will also, you know, uh, I know some people that tend to get like very into and immersed in role play feel some type of way about talking over the table. And, you might expect it from me coming from someone who's a narrative focused DM, but a lot of the times I will interrupt and be like, hey, how are you feeling? Like, you, the player, is this all right? I think last session I played a character failed a really important ability check. And so something bad was going to happen. And I literally paused and asked the player, I was like, how bad are you okay with me making this? Like, do you, or maybe it was like, how graphic are you okay with me describing this? And I was like, if you're not cool with it, I'll go with something light. But if you want me to load it up, if you want me to really pack that shit in, I can do that. And they were like, yeah, fuck me up, chief. I was like, bet. And, having consistent check-ins, because, like in BDSM and kink spaces, consent is not just a decision at the beginning. It is a constant process. And you should carry that into spaces like D&D or TTRPGs at large, where you are interacting very intimately, because it is a very intimate interaction, storytelling with other people. You should be carrying those principles into those spaces as well.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's incredibly intimate, and that's the main reason why, even after having a session 0 and after you get on the call for like your next X amount of sessions, and the first like 5-10 minutes of any of those calls is going to be chopping it up with your friends, right? You're going to ask, how are you guys doing? Yada, yada. But I do always take time after that, before the session starts, to do a check in. Hey, you guys left off doing this. Now at this session, we're going to be doing this. And with this session, I'm going to be doing this, this, and this. And this person's backstory is going to be involved, and this person's childhood may come up here. Is everyone good with this? It's just like a small checklist of like, here's what we're itinerary of, here's what we're doing, here's what you are doing.
All right, everyone. Hey, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Pillow Fort podcast. If this is your first time listening, thank you so much for joining us. XOXO, would you please plug our social media? Where can people find us at?
You can find us from your kind friend, Big Booby Bobby. You can find us on
Got it in one.
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, Twitter, because I refuse to call it X. Did I already say X? Anyway, Blue Sky. And you can find us in the Watchtower Discord. We links in bio, links at the end of this video. We hope to see you around, and if not, whatever.
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 We don't even like want to see you around. It's cool.
I think it's very anti-Black if you don't follow us.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's very homophobic if you don't subscribe and donate to our Patreon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You didn't list Patreon as one of the places they could find us. Sorry, am I being anti-Black or homophobic?
Both.
Transphobic.
You'll be transphobic if you don't like our social medias and don't follow us on all of them. You'll be transphobic, homophobic, and then you'll be anti-Black if you don't support us. We got bills to pay too.
Speaking of bills to pay, nope, I don't know how I'm going to connect that segue, but here we go. Closing question. What character trope do you always end up playing?
Always the support character. I quite literally, that's just built into my personality. Every character that I've ever played has been a background custodian to everyone else's spotlight and stories.
Yeah, that tracks.
I like playing support characters. I only make characters based off of what the party needs.
I love you, Chels.
And then also I play a soft power character, which is basically if there's a character that's like main face evil, I am playing soft power because they're going to get themselves fucked up, and I just like, playing social political games.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Anyways, thank you, everyone. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of your party, keep telling your stories, and we will see you next time at the Pillow Fort.
I'm Big Bobby out. I'm Big Bobby Joe. I'm out.
We are all Big Booby Bobby, but that's all, folks.
Bye.